Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. That was a very enthusiastic hi. Um, I am drinking a tea from Miss Tea, which is a place I visited a couple months ago, so it's sort of a haul. And it's called White Blossom, so it's white tea with things. I don't know, fruits and, yes, pieces of mango and nettle leaves, so herbals, etc. Rose petals. I always like rose petals in my tea. I don't know. It's a thing I like. Anyway, I thought it was a nice, refreshing, delicate tea to have for a haul. And yes, I am doing a book haul. Uh, if you watch my channel long enough, you know that where my office is, when I go in physically to the offices that I work in, there is a lovely bookshop called Bookoff. I mean, it's not the most ambience-wise. It's not like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to just sit here and curl up with a book in one of their cozy chairs. There's only one chair in the book section, and it's always the same guy sitting there. And I don't begrudge him that. Let him enjoy his seat. Right outside, actually, if you go out of the shop and you go down around the corner, there's like a little park, not a park, but like a green-ish sitting area for, office workers to relax in. They have a little 9/11 memorial for the Marshall McLennan people who lost their lives. A little sad. But anyway, so yeah, if you pick up a few books and I want to curl up with a book, you can go outside if the weather's good. And the weather was good for this last visit. It was one of the few days that wasn't disappointingly hot. I find that I've been looking forward to autumn so much, and I'm terrified that it's going to go straight from nasty, humid, sticky heat to like put your coats on and forget all the pretty sweater, blazer, light boot kind of weather. But that's okay. We'll get the occasional days, and you know what? Every day is a day one can read, right? No matter how bad it is. But anyway, so I'd gone. Speaking of disappointment, I'd gone last month to Bookoff, and by the way, Bookoff is a chain, and there's not just one Bookoff in the world. There's a bunch of them in Japan, but there's also one in, let's think, Hawaii, California, I don't know. But there's only one in New York, and it's great. There's a whole $1 section and a couple aisles of fiction and nonfiction that are $1, and I love that. I just love a good bargain, which is bad because it makes me buy a lot of books that I won't get to for a while, probably. But the other discounted books are pretty affordable too. But I was disappointed that visit in August because the section for $1 classics had disappeared, and it's returned actually, but in a slightly different space. But at that time, I was just like, I don't like change. I can't process this. Meh. So I didn't really do much, and I got over myself. So I picked a good day and went and. I found a good amount of books, some of which are classics, and this is in no order whatsoever. There's a couple of books I bought that I have read already, and I was going to show it to you, but I think I don't want to spend all day for the rest of my life showing you books, so I'm just going to show you the books that I haven't read. Put this somewhere. There you go. I haven't read in full. Some of these books I have started, and I will start with a book that I have started, and this is a classic. This is a Dickens, and I do have a slight goal of reading all of Dickens' novels. Not necessarily his short stories, but his novels. I would like to have read all of his novels. His novels and Anthony Trollope's before I retire. I think that's enough time to give me. I would like to say before I'm 50, but that's coming really close upon me, to be honest, when it comes to reading time, anyway. And so this book I actually started a few years back, and with my sisters, both my sisters, I think, and I had it in a big volume that wasn't really that cozy to read with, so I gave up on it, and I said I probably wasn't gonna pick this up anytime soon. But I don't know, I kind of want to be completionist with Dickens, so I saw this for $1 and thought, I like the edition. I like, it feels readable, so maybe I can give it another shot. Not for Victober, but another time. That's The Old Curiosity Shop by Charles Dickens. And it has the original illustrations, which I love. It puts me in mind of Kate Howe doing her special feature before Victober, which is on Instagram. She's putting illustrations from different Victorian novels and having us guess which one it is. I got at least one of them right, so that's good. And you see these? It says Mrs. Jarley's Wax Work, which I can't remember anything about this book to tell you anything about that, and I hope it's not a spoiler. But anyway, I actually already am spoiled about this book anyway because of something Oscar Wilde said about it. You know, Oscar Wilde, you are a spoiler. How dare. But anyway, so we'll see. Maybe I'll get to it. I still don't think it's going to ever be my favorite Dickens, but that's okay. Because I think my favorite Dickens is Bleak House. And your opinion may vary. Okay, going from a Victorian novel back a little bit to Jane Austen, my favorite writer, I think. And, okay, Jane Austen July is over, but I still remember quite a few of those videos, and a number of people read this particular book, and it looked like something I wanted to read, but I couldn't get to it, and maybe I will either by next July or beforehand, and that is for $1. The Real Jane Austen, A Life in Small Things by Paula Byrne. Isn't that lovely? I think I'll enjoy this. I don't believe I've ever read this one, so I'm quite excited about this. And I've heard pretty good things about it, so it's up my alley. It really is. I can't stop reading nonfiction about Jane Austen. I really can't. And I also can't get enough of reading nonfiction about Victorian times, including Queen Victoria and her household. So this is Serving Victoria, Life in the Royal Household by Kate Hubbard, who was shortlisted for the Costa Biography Award, which isn't that the chain of like coffee places in the UK? I think that and Cafe Nero I always remember when I was over there. But this is definitely UK paperback because it well, it looks like one. You know it when you see it, but the back has a price and it doesn't seem to have the US price. So I'm assuming. And I got it for $1. So I don't know when this was written. So let's see. She wrote A Material Girl, Bess of Hardwick. I wonder if I read that. Anyway, you don't need to hear my musings right now. This was also, let's see, this was made in, published in 2012? Okay, so it's been around for a while. Well, new to me, right? This I've heard of. I may have even taken it at the library at one point. I like reading about reading, books about books. I intend to do a reading event-ish, read-along, etc. soon about books, so stay tuned. So this will add to this particular collection, and that is Proust and the Squid, The Story and Science of the Reading Brain by Marianne Wolfe. So I'm not that much into science, but when it comes to reading, I might just be a little bit interested, you know? The synapses, etc. I mean, when I took psychology, I did pretty well, and that had a lot to do with brain work and whatever, so maybe I could do it. Now here is a mystery. I have a couple of mysteries here, I think. I didn't really put this in order, as you could probably tell. I'm all over the place, but these, I'll try to keep the two mysteries in order. I've started the first book in this series, and I want to continue it at some point. It's about an older woman who, not that old, but a retirement age woman who moves to Sicily and solves crimes. And so this is like the Miss Marple in Sicily. That's what they call it here. This is Antipoldi and The Fruits of the Lord by Mario Giordano. I think that could be pretty good. I just haven't gotten to it yet because this might also be a UK paperback. It just feels, it just looks like it. But, yeah, I have to be in the mood, but I think I could get myself in the mood for that. I really have been a little behind in my mystery reading lately, and I don't feel terrible about that except for the fact that I missed out on yet another mystery reading event. But I'll pick up. It's weird. I say this every year. I always say I don't read as many mystery books in hot weather. I don't know why. I guess if I lived in a perennial hot weather place, I'd have to just get used to it. But for some reason, when June rolls around, suddenly my mysteries go from here to like here. I read some, but not a lot. And as soon as it gets colder, I start reading more. There's just something, that's my reading brain. So who knows? And now this one is part, like, in the middle of a mystery series, so I don't know if I'm going to have to start the other ones first. The title got to me. It's another one of these Scottish mysteries, and So we're going from Sicily to Scotland, which is just basically like touring my heritage. Although I've only been to Scotland. I've never been to Sicily. Someday. But anyway, if I'm really going to get into my heritage, I'll read about New York. Come on. But anyway, this one I got for the title, and my sister will know why I got this title. I just love the name. Bonnie of Evidence. I don't know why. I saw that and I started laughing literally out loud in Bookoff in front of everybody by Maddie Hunter. Bonnie of Evidence. Come on. It could be like the worst book ever, but it's like the best stupid title ever. Bonnie of Evidence. Okay. I do crack myself up. I doubt anyone else is as amused as I am. You know who's probably not amused? Victoria. But anyway, we'll move on. Well, wait. Let me see what it's about. In case we're curious, right? Emily Andrew Michelli, travel escort extraordinaire, and her husband Etienne are leading a merry band of globe-trotting seniors. I'm like reading a lot of books about like seniors lately, but that's okay. I'm enjoying it. On a tour of Scotland's highlands and islands, in addition to the usual haggis tasting and kilt shopping activities. I liked haggis, okay? Emily has organized a high-tech scavenger hunt, her own version of the Highland Games that soon turns into all-out clan warfare. When one feuding team member is found dead, of course, Etienne, a former police detective, of course, suspects an allergic reaction, but upon discovering that the victim's underhanded tactics may have accidentally unleashed an ancient curse, I don't care for that, Emily realizes she'll need to have a truly brave heart to survive this ill-fated fling. Yeah, I'm not into curses and junk like that, but we'll see. It's probably going to just turn out to be something Scooby-Doo. But Bonnie of Evidence. The title. Bonnie of Evidence. Anyway, this is a writer, going to classics again, this is a writer who I've read a few books of and enjoyed, but I haven't read anything of his in quite some time. I don't know if you can call him Victorian because he was technically American, but he also lived in England. I can't remember exactly how old, when he lived exactly. I'm trying to see when this was published. Sorry. Okay, well this came out in 1903, so not Victorian, but close. Anyway, some of his books might have come out in Victorian times. So this is Henry James I'm talking about. And this is a Barnes & Noble edition, which I love. If you follow my arm really carefully, and you might see this little pink here, that's the beginning of my Barnes & Noble classics. They're not my favorite editions ever, but they kind of look nice together. That one is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. Wonderful book. But this is a light kind of purpley lilac, I don't know. And this is The Ambassadors by Henry James. So I've been meaning to read this one. I don't know if I'll enjoy it. I feel like someone I know read this and thought it was good, so maybe I will as well. I have never read Portrait of a Lady. I bought it in London, and then I gave it away. I just didn't want to read it. And so, but I have read a couple of his books, and I can't remember which ones now. That's crazy, isn't it? I remember now. Daisy Miller. That's the one. Anyway, so I gotta get back to Henry James at some point. But not today. Okay, so this book I just thought it would be good to have on hand for when I finally start reading Proust. I know we just mentioned his name already, but that just has to do with a title about reading. But this is a biography, Penguin Lives biography of Proust by Edmund White. I think it looks pretty good. I feel like I've seen this on BookTube recently, and but I just enjoy reading about writers because it gets me interested in their work more than sometimes anything else can. So that might do it for me. Who knows? I keep having this thing that I'm gonna read Proust. Okay, this book I actually own a copy of. Going back to, again, a book that I bought in 1998 when I worked downtown. Again, a long time ago. I worked downtown. It was a very long commute for me, and it wasn't my biggest bookish time period. I wasn't buying too many books. I did enjoy going to Borders in the World Trade Center, because it was a great bookshop, and it also had VHS. Let's go way back in time. I bought my Titanic movie there, and CDs and stuff. So even if I wasn't that into books, I would go there anyway. But at one point near where I was working, on Wall Street. Makes me sound very financial, but I wasn't. There was a table where someone had been selling books, you know, paperbacks and whatnot. And I bought a copy of this book, but I still haven't read it. And I thought, well, I don't know why, but I think I wanted to have some kind of scholarly edition. And I love the Norton Critical editions. It makes me feel like I'm studying, which I'm not that I want to study all the time, since I just want to cuddle up with a book, but sometimes I do want to really learn about something. And this is one of I didn't have it on my book bucket list because I had too many other things, but it is definitely there. So this is the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, Geoffrey Chaucer, and 15 Tales and the General Prologue, selected and edited by V.A. Colve and Glending Olson. So it might help me get into it. We'll see. It would be nice. I wish I could read this with someone else, like a little co-read or something, but I don't know what's going to happen. And I think it has all other writings about it. These Norton Critical editions tend to have like essays and stuff in the back of it by other writers about these works. And I love that. It makes me feel like I'm learning something as I'm reading. So this is last but not least. This is the book that costs $5.50. Oh my goodness, $5.50. But and it's the one book that has like a little bit of a dent in the cover. So that kind of, I almost thought about asking them to give me a discount, and then I just thought, no, I'm not in a fighting mood. But this was a book I feel like I saw Hannah at Hannah's Books get this. So if true, please confirm. I'll try to link her down below so that but it is, again, another book about books that I absolutely love. So, and the cover, even though it's a little bit scratched and dented, it's still something that is up my alley. And this is Bibliotopia. What was that juice drink, Fruitopia? Did it have like little bits of stuff floating in it, or is that something else? Fruitopia. This is like a 90s reference. But anyway, does it still exist? I don't know. I just thought of that. Or Mr. Gilbert's Book of Books and Catch-All Literary Facts and Curiosities. So compiled by Stephen Gilbar, decorations by Elliot Banfield. Just kind of sounds kind of fancy, and it looks kind of nice, and it was only $5.50. Although if it were $1, I'd feel a lot more proud about myself. I don't know why, but I think this could be a fun book to do in my bookity moments. So I think that's a pretty big haul, right? I think that's enough talking about the books that I've picked up. So let me know if you guys have read any of these books, if you like any of these books, if you want to read any of these books. I've seen a lot of haul videos lately, this week anyway, so I'm sure I will indulge in some as well. But if you have done any hauls recently yourself, let me know in the comments what you have purchased. And if they're the same books, that's always fun. You know, coincidences happen. So hopefully that'll be all for me at Bookoff for a while, because I have plenty to read, and I have October to plan for. I'm almost there. I will do a TBR soon. I'm quite excited about that. I love October. And so that is all for now. Hope you've enjoyed this little haul, kind of big haul, but I managed to get home without breaking my back, so God. Muscles, not. Okay, this is Catherine taking tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and book-filled day.